Good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Breakfast with Loui. Today's breakfast has almost been consumed. It was potato, onion, pepper, and salmon with spices on there, and of course my cup of coffee. It's not as hot as it was like half hour ago. But it's organic. It's freshly ground. It's bitter. It's disgusting. No, it's not. It's I don't know. Oh yeah, I know why. I know why I don't like this one as much. This is the different blend. I forgot. This is a slightly different blend, and I don't like it as much. But it is what it is. One second. Let me just consume this real quick. We'll have a few rain showers, raindrops this morning. It'll pass away, and it'll be sunny and hot. Or maybe warm. I don't know. One second. Ta-da! And I finished El Breakfasto. Very good. Still have some coffee left, so I can hold my cup and talk to you folks while I look at my screen there. See the raindrops fall on the ground. When the raindrops fall on the ground and the mountains shine forth with snow on top. I know. This is not singing with Lou, this is breakfast with Lou. 1 second. All right. I didn't really do anything. I was pretending. My nose feels a little bit runny though. I don't know why. I just woke up. It's early in the morning. I didn't even fix my breakfast. I didn't even fix my hair. I just, my makeup crew didn't show up today. You're not my makeup crew, so I'm not talking to you. You're not my makeup crew. You're not. He's like looking at me funny. I'm looking at him, but I'm not talking to him. Unbelievable. So today is a perfect example of stuff that I can talk about. It's raining a little bit. It's cloudy. And I'm getting, it's like 8:30ish. And the sun should be up. But I'm getting no power from, I'm at 12.4. I'm only getting 0.3 amps. Which is 3 watts from the sun. Very little. Fortunately I have all the power I need. My refrigerators are good. I have lights. Of course, if I plug in my computer, then it'll start draining quite a bit of power. If I turn on the TV, I need to turn on the inverter for that. That uses more power. So, yeah, I could start draining my batteries pretty quickly. But, because I've been doing this for many years, I know how to I got the hiccups. I know how to conserve energy. So, I know when to splurge, watch a movie and such, turn on the inverter, grind some coffee beans, and I know when to conserve, when to manually grind them, because I have, you've seen my videos, I have an electrical grinder that I use most of the time when I have power. And then when my power is like, yeah, then I use the grinder. I use the manual grinder. And so I can conserve some power. And that's what you do. You conserve power. But if you take this whole setup and you set it up on a large scale, and you try to provide power to a whole city, it's much different. Now, if you have a house and you want to put solar panels in there, you know, the whole system is going to be, you know, it's not cheap. If you have a cabin, for example, and you want to be off grid, yeah, if I had a cabin, I would definitely put solar panels in there and batteries to store the power. And if I couldn't afford what I wanted to begin with, I would start with a few panels and a couple batteries, and then I would keep adding on as I would save money to expand the system and make it so I have enough power, especially in the winter, to power my stuff. But you would have to be living, or in my case, I would have, if I was doing that, I would have to be living somewhere, anywhere that doesn't have a lot of clouds in the winter. So, for example, in the East Coast, in the winter, it gets cloudy, and it snows, and it rains, and it's cloudy for days and weeks on end sometimes. You know, the sun comes out a little bit, but it's mostly cloudy. And when it's mostly cloudy for days on end, it's hard for me to keep my battery charged up, especially if I want to use anything. And that's one of the reasons I have a Webasto, but over here on the East Coast, or on the East Coast, I can't use it. You know, when I'm over here on the West Coast, I have no problem using the Webasto because I have plenty of sun, especially in Arizona, plenty of sun, even in the winter, and I can charge my batteries and I can use my Webasto every night if I want to. But over on the East Coast, I just can't. I can't do it. There's not enough power. So if you have a house and you put solar panels in there and you are probably still tied to the grid, when you don't produce enough power, you have power from the grid. Now, when entire cities and states decide to go green, and they decide, you know, screw all the coal, screw oil, we want nothing to do with that, we just want to go all green, well, then you're going to have shortages of power because solar and wind does not produce enough power, period. I don't care what you think, it just doesn't, especially when you're trying to feed and supply power to a whole city. You're just not going to have enough, or a whole state. You're not going to have enough power, and then you're going to run into problems. Like I just read the other day that in California, they were asking people to lower their air conditioners and stop charging their EVs. That's electrical vehicles, if you don't know what that means. Think about it for a second. First they tell you, yes, buy an electrical vehicle, even if you can't afford one. It doesn't matter if it costs $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. You must buy an electrical vehicle because we are the greenies and we know better. Never mind that we drive around or fly around the planet in private jets, polluting more in 1 hour than you ever pollute probably in your lifetime. But listen to us, because we know better. We are greenies. We love the planet. That's why we destroy entire rainforests, trying to get the ore out of the ground to create those batteries that charge your green cars. We are greenies. We love the planet. We don't care about the people. We don't really care about the environment. We just care about our status, that we are mightier and higher than thou. And then you find out that you don't have enough power to charge your electrical vehicle. After you spent all that money buying one, you have no power to charge it with. Because the all-knowing government tells you you can't do it. And then you're stuck. And then you're stuck and you can't go anywhere in your green car. A green car, by the way, that's made up with many parts. You know, that used up a lot of fossil fuels to get made. Plastic parts, metal parts, all the parts in a car, including the battery and all that. Takes a lot of fossil fuels to make that green car. So they tell you you can't charge your car. After they tell you you must buy these cars. And that's just the beginning. California wants to be all EV, all electrical vehicles by 2035. Does that mean if I don't have an electrical vehicle, I can't drive into California? They're going to have the fruit Nazis and then the cart Nazis checking if I have an electrical engine or a combustion engine. So if you have a combustion engine, you're not allowed to go into California. Maybe that's where it's coming to. I don't know. We'll see. But how do they expect? How do these morons expect? Especially you. Yes, I'm talking to you. If you are a moron that votes Democrat, and you by your vote help install these scumbags in power, then you are at fault. It is your fault that now you can't drive anywhere and nobody else can either. Because you're such a moron that you voted that way and now you're stuck. And now you don't have any trucks bringing food into your state, into your city. Now you don't have any food either. You're a moron. You're an idiot. You are a useful idiot. Being useful to those in power. And that goes both ways, Democrat, Republican. Sometimes they both one and the same. Doesn't matter. But you are an idiot. If you think that by going all green, it's going to help you. Look what's happening in Europe. Europe is also gung-ho for going green. We're going to go green. And then they are also very reliant on Russian oil. They love that Russian oil. And now look what happened. They don't have Russian oil. And they're going green. But guess what people are doing en masse? Yes, they're using coal and they're cutting down trees to heat themselves with. Because guess what happens when you live in a country that gets very cold in the winter? And your government, because you voted that way, because you're an idiot and you voted that way, your government wants to go all green. And eliminates fossil fuels. Period. No more fossil fuels. They're bad. Terrible. Never mind that countries like China and India and other places like that don't give a damn about your green ideas. They just keep on polluting. But because you are mightier than thou and I'm going to go green and it feels so good to vote that way. So this is how it's going to be. And then because you live in a cold climate, winter comes. As winter always comes every year. So the summer gets hot, winter gets cold. And then you don't have a way to heat your own home because fossil fuels have been banned. You can't buy oil, you can't buy coal. So what are you going to do? Tell me, you greenie, stupid, moron. What are you going to do? You're going to sit in your home feeling good about yourself because you voted that way and now everything is green and everything is electrical and there's no more pollution. You're going to sit there in your home and freeze to death? You're going to tell me that you're going to sit there and freeze to death because you can't buy anything and you don't have electricity. There's none to go around, so you can't heat your house with electricity either. Because there's blackouts and brownouts and there's not enough energy going around. Guess what? In the winter, hard to produce electrical energy from solar panels. Trust me, I know. And there's no wind, so you can't produce nothing from wind. So now you're freezing to death, you moron. So what are you going to do? You are going to start to chop wood. Yes. You're going to do everything you can. If you have to burn your furniture, you're going to burn your furniture to stay alive because you're freezing to death. So if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. Because you greenies, you want to save the planet. You worship the planet instead of worshiping God that created the planet. You are pagans. You worship creation instead of the creator. So now you're sitting at home freezing because you don't have any power to heat your home with. And you and everybody else amongst you that voted that way, and everybody else that didn't vote that way, everybody pays because of your stupidity. And now there's thousands and millions of people freezing to death. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to start burning stuff. And that's going to create a lot more pollution than having energy made from coal and gas and other fossil fuels. Even nuclear. Very clean to produce energy. But you don't like that. No. But wait. Everything goes smoothly and everything is so hunky-dory when there's enough to go around, when the country is rich, when we have everything we need. We can go to Starbuckians and get a Starbuckian crappy coffee, and we can type how bad this country is on our iPhones, and can complain about everything and how we want to go green and all that crap. And then taxes start going up. You have less money to buy stuff. Everything goes up in price, and there's no energy to go around. They tell you not to charge your car because there's not enough energy. They tell you not to charge your air conditioner, or not to turn on your air conditioner, or your heat if it's in the winter. And then society breaks down in chaos. It's every man for himself. If you don't have wheels like me and you have a house, it's winter, you're going to freeze to death unless you burn stuff down. Be it your furniture, books, trees that you go around cutting and burning. Or if it's in the summer, he's just going to be sweating because you don't have a way to cool yourself down unless you become, you turn your messed up brain into something that's helpful to yourself, like you create airflow and try to cool yourself that way, But this is the world. This is the way the world's gonna go anyway. I mean, I'm just talking about it, and it's very frustrating to see how things are going and the way that things will go. But in the end, this is where we're going to end up. We're going to end up in a society that, look, before when the 2020, before a lot of people opened their mouths and said stuff, I mentioned to people, oh, just wait. Next thing they're going to say is that money is dirty and we got to get rid of it. And soon after, somebody high up in government said, yeah, you know what, money is dirty and I think we should get rid of it. I think we should go all electronic currency. And that's what's coming. Just you wait. You may think I'm fool, I'm this or that. But the Bible is very clear. In the end times, there will be a one world government, a one world monetary system, a one world religion. Maybe that religion is the religion of nature, worshiping nature. And the one world currency is most likely just electronic. And that's the way eventually maybe the United States will go first, or some other country. I think other countries are already going that way. And you can't buy anything with money. You can't buy anything. You'll just have like a number or something that will be your thing to buy and sell. If you want to sell something, that you get paid to your account that way. If you want to buy something, you use that. And how scary is that? Because then the government knows everything that you're buying. And who's to say that the government imposes, you go to the gas station and you fill up your car and you go, with electricity, not gas, because gas is bad. So you go to the gas station or the electrical station or whatever crap, and you fill it up. You spend a couple hours there filling up your car. Or if you go to a supercharging station, maybe a half hour, whatever. And then they, you put in your number and it's all good. You're like all happy. Oh, I'm all green. And maybe that power was made some place far away with coal, but you think it's all green. You think it's all good. So you're all happy. And then you drive 300 miles and then you go to another supercharging station and you plug in and you put your number in there and like, what the? And then you realize that you get a message somewhere, maybe on your iPhone. I love iPhones. I have iPhones or some other method, and it tells you from the all-knowing government. Sorry, you have used your allotted amount of energy for the week. You are no longer allowed to fill your car. Now what are you going to do? Now you're going to be stranded in the middle of nowhere because you can't drive anymore for the rest of the week. You have used all your allotted energy for the week. And that's what's coming. If you don't think so, that's what's coming, you stupid moron. Because I'm calling you that, because if you think that the government is not going to interfere, you are a stupid moron. Of course they are. If they can tell you what car to buy, and they can eliminate every other car except a certain type of car, then they can tell you that you've had enough. You drove enough. They can tell you that, sorry, you can't buy 2 gallons of milk. You can only buy 1. You can't buy 2 cases of whatever, of paper towels. You can only buy 1. Whatever. Use your imagination. They can limit how much you buy when you buy it. Even if you can buy it. They can limit you when all the transactions are done electronically. And the government knows, they know what you are buying and how much you bought. And cash has been eliminated, so you can't use cash. Maybe gold has been outlawed or whatever, or rendered useless. So no longer gold and silver is of any value in society. Or any other way, maybe except for the exchange of labor. So that's one thing that you can do under the radar. You have a neighbor that needs something done and you know how to do it. Then you go there and you do it in exchange for something. And then vice versa. Somebody does something for you and you give them something that you have extra. Maybe you have a garden and you, as far as gardens are not illegal, maybe the government will go around, make sure nobody has gardens with food in there so that they can eat their own food. Maybe that'll become outlawed. And the only food you can buy is from the store. Then you have to hide your garden. The gardens become outlawed. That could happen too. But if that doesnand happen right away, then you can barter with what you have. So if you have apple trees, you can give somebody apples in exchange for oranges, and then you make orange juice and they make apple juice. And somebody has a cow, they give you meat, and you have vegetables, you give them vegetables. So you have vegetables and meat, and they have vegetables and meat. Somebody knows how to make shoes, they make a pair of shoes for you, and you give them something in return. So you can still do that, as long as the government still allows it. Because if they cut all that, then, if they go around cutting all your personal apple trees and orange trees and gardens and not allowed, if you have one, you get fined or you go to jail, then what are you going to do? And that's what society is coming to. I'm raving here about the greenies, but That's just the beginning. That is just the beginning. When you see the temple in Israel being rebuilt, know that the time is short. And I tell that everybody. I tell that to everybody that I talk to about the end times. Rebuilding the third temple is not necessarily a necessity, but it is there in the Bible. It says that the Antichrist will go in the third temple and he will profane the temple. So for that to happen, the temple has to be in existence. So in our lifetime, if you see that happening, if you see the temple being rebuilt, know that the time is short, and things are only going to get worse. And then you have people who are living today, if that happens in our lifetime, who willingly and knowingly will give their right hand so that the government can put a mark on it, or their forehead, so that they'll have an ID that they can use to scan anywhere. Beep, 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 beep. Go to a gym, buy food, rent a car, go to a movie, whatever they want to do. They don't need to carry a wallet. They don't need to do anything. Just their hand or their forehead scanned somehow. And that's all they need. And a lot of people today, they're so eager for that to happen that they will jump head and feet first, or whatever. They'll jump with their butt down first if they have to be first in line to get it. And when that happens, if you ever see that happening, don't take it. Because if you take it, that's the end of you. That's it. You have no redemption left. That's a sign that you chose to reject God. You spit in his face and you rejected him. And you are condemned for eternity. I don't want you to be condemned for eternity. I want you to have hope and know that in the end, God wins. Satan loses. God wins. Satan is a creation of God. God created Lucifer, the angel of light. But Lucifer rebelled. And he wanted to be like God. Just like a lot of people today. A lot of people today, they think they can become like God. Because they think God was once like us. You are sorely mistaken. There's only one God, and he does not share his throne with anyone else. But keep thinking the way you think, and things are just going to get worse and worse and worse. And then you move to another state, because the state where you live became so unlivable. And you move to another state because you see another state, then you go, oh, that state is doing so better, much better. I'm going to go over there. But what you don't realize, you stupid moron, is that the problem is not the state, the problem is you and the way you vote. Because then you're going to go to a new state, you're going to vote the way you were voting before, and then you're going to turn that state in the same despicable place that you were living in, and then it starts all over again. But I better stop right here because I will just keep on going. And I won't be able to stop. So I should take a hold of myself. Take a sip of coffee. Take a deep breath and think for a second. But more about that next time.